Hello, everybody. My name is Zerduku, and welcome back to Rise of the Demonic Kids 4. And so far, so good. I think the videos are looking good. It's looking pretty Halloweenish, and it's getting there. So you know what? Without further ado, let's just get to it, shall we?
Let's continue. Where am I? The Mannequin Master. Is this the plan, Pup Master?
Maybe?
The amount of may I heard is deafening. Once upon a time, there was a child obsessed with mannequins. One night, she took a bunch of wood from her father's backyard and, and stole his tools while he was asleep. She was beginning to carve a face, making little eye holes that insert plastic eyes with metal pieces inside.
Insert Puppet Master music.
I don't know if we can, because well, that's not on the budget.
Flag.
The hollow of the eyes, allowing them to move and blink. She made sockets inside of the eye holes, so plastic eyes fit perfectly inside the eye holes. Yes, we now know she fits the eyes in the eye holes to fit eyes in the eye holes. She took a small sword and attached it to the wooden arm that made a mechanism that would allow the sword to pop out from the sleeve. This is basically Blade.
It's funny. One of my editors thought the same thing, but it's not.
Knife hand,
It's not a knife hand, you idiot.
sword hand.
She put it inside the part of the arm.
Part of the arm. So what? It's like Wolverine.
So it still has hands.
So as it comes out of wrist, or the hand just detaches.
Well, it basically opens up and the sword pops out and the hand automatically grabs the sword. So it's not really blade.
All right. One of the second ones she began to carve is an insect-like face. Took two round pieces of plastic and painted them orange. She superglued the eyes onto this insect face. She made four arms and metal mechanisms that made the arms mobile. She took handguns and placed them.
Handgun rounds.
There's no handgun rounds. It's just handguns.
It's not. It's handgun round. Did freaking
Handgun rounds and placed them on a rotating mechanism inside of the wooden bug's arms. Then she covered them up with cloth and a wooden closing mechanism. She began to paint a human-like mannequin by giving him human color skin. This is just way too much description, but let's keep going. Spray painted the top of his head with brown color record to make it look like hair. Then she hid the mannequin away from people by locking him in her closet. Present day, New Stone Penitentiary. We all know this is just a hellhole. In the far left corner of the lunchroom sits two teenage girls. The two teenage girls are sitting across from each other. On the right side of the table, sits a teenage girl with short black hair, wearing a white t-shirt and red skirt. She had normal blue eyes, firm body, and fan service D cups. If I fuck not. Besides her is the rest of her lunchroom, with long tables and round seats with no one on them. From the back of the balcony, back of the balcony and beyond the balcony, there are two entrances of the lunchroom. The girl with the white t-shirt is Megan. She is a lesbian and was put in this place because she physically assaulted a teacher in her middle school. Sitting across from Megan is another 14-year-old teenager with long black hair and a ponytail. She has purple eyes and wears a black button t-shirt with no sleeves. She has purple skirt with gloves that come close to her elbows, and the gloves have pieces of protective metal. Her name is Elsa Sharp, and she and Megan have been together for 6 months in this place. The two girls are sitting together while having lunch. It's just more of a jail, not much a place of reformment. This food is fucking terrible, says Megan with complaint. Well, it's not like everything else Not like there's anything else to eat around here. God forbid they actually have enough money to hire an actual cook. Elsa responded. Elsa's attention went to the right, where she noticed Dennis enter the lunchroom. At the moment, she felt a flutter in her heart. She stared at
He's cute.
I don't care at this point. She stared at
Do
the
you
two
care
pieces.
about anything?
Not this, because I just see enough to know that this story's not for me. I'm only here to read it. This story can just stay off my nightmares. Hair on top of his head. Inside her mind, she thought the boy was extremely adorable. At that moment, she wondered if she fell in love all of a sudden, but she heard a hard thing. She had a hard time. She had a hard time believing that. Her experience with men is terrible, but it's too hard to fight butterflies in her heart. Megan, who's that boy? Asked Elsa, pointing at Dennis. As he gets up from the front desk to get food, Megan looked with curiosity. She sees the blonde-haired boy with a white T-shirt and a lack of emotion on his face. Oh, I hear that's a new kid. Just what his prison needs right now. The fuck? The fuck are you?
I beg thou pardon?
We'll see if that report comes on footage. Like, what? Huh?
What are you looking at?
Did you not see this thing over here?
What thing?
I just closed it. It was like a notification.
Probably my vice protector being stupid.
Alright. Another useless man, said Megan with pride. Fucking Vegetas. Just rename the entire prideful cast Vegeta.
Actually, the book itself is Vegeta.
So Vegeta likes incest?
Maybe he does.
No, he does not. He does not. I'm well known Dragon Ball lore. He does not. He finds it sick and disgusting. And his disappointment of sane race. Right, whispered Elsa, deep in thought.
Gotta keep the sane race in the family.
No, they decided humans are more compatible with Saiyans.
Alrighty, back to the book.
Alright, and here's the new one. Immediate response! Elsa began. Megan looked at Elsa with confusion.
That's tag 1 for this chapter.
Okay, what the oh. Well, anyways, I told you how I got here. How about you? Asked Megan. Elsa started to play with her spoon, standing it up and turning it around every now and then in the circle. Well, believe it or not, I can tell I'm not gonna like this part.
It's her backstory.
It's her backstory, and I already see fucking sex slave and her father. Molestation, just lovely. She doesn't belong here. She belongs in a fucking therapy ward. This is just a prison for kids who shouldn't. You know, fuck this story. Let's just read it.
Juvie Hall.
It's just more prison of Arkham Asylum. No help, no reform. There's lock here. Just throw away the key, I guess. I've been here since when I was 8 years old. Before I was here, I spent most of my life in a cage with no clothes as a fucking sex slave for a man who called himself my father. I don't know if he actually was my father or not, but honestly, I don't care anymore. All I knew is that him and other men sometimes would rape in a small trailer in the middle of nowhere. The place was a piece of shit. It's almost as if the property was originally meant for a garbage dump. My so-called father seemed to have a job in some making mannequins for a factory. A few times I sneaked out of my cage just to look around. Well, I couldn't really escape anywhere else because there was nowhere to go. One day I saw his artwork and on making those mannequins, and despite the fact I hated him, I had to admit he was an artist. That night, he drank himself to sleep, and I snuck into the garage where he made the mannequins. I stole some art supplies and began making my own. I made 2 friends that day. They hated my father so much that when I tried to make the mannequins myself, my friends killed him. My friends killed him in his sleep. When the cops came, I took the blame for his death to save my friends. Pablo and Bugshot were only doing what they thought that was best for me. And that's why I'm here, explained Elsa. Wow, that's a lot, said Megan, not knowing how to respond. Pablo, Buckshot, and you are the only friends I have here. Elsa hold Megan's hand in tender care. Yeah, me and the mannequins, said Megan with hesitation. Megan is aware that Elsa has multiple personality disorder, and she does not. But she's her best try. But she does her best to try and to be okay with as Elsa's confused condition. Rick. Mannequins. They're not just mannequins, they're my friends. Elsa responded with a twitching smile. Yeah, friends, Meg responded with hesitation and a small twitch of fear. In the lunchroom, there are 4 guards stationed at each corner, and there are 2 cameras in the lunchroom keeping an eye on all the children. There are 2 security guards paid. There are 2 security guards paid to watch the TV video monitors to make sure everything is safe. On the 3rd floor of Penitentiary, Newstone, is a security room where the security guard watches the monitors. In the security room, there's this 45-year-old man named Jerry Oldman. Jerry has brown hair that is slowly turning white, and his mustache of the same color. He's an average tall man, but he's very thin looking. Sitting next to him on the left is a 7-foot muscular looking African-American guy, African security guard that has no hair and has brown eyes. His personality is kind of intimidating almost, but it's just a normal human being named Bruce Ayres. Bruce Ayres. Man, this job sucks. Talk about being underpaid by watching a bunch of little psychopaths, said Bruce as he peeled an orange and sliced pieces off to eat. Your job's terrible. Why don't you look someplace else? Jerry responded with sarcasm. Man, I wish I could work back home, back in America. But the president just fucks up so nobody finds work. Explained Bruce while he continued eating his orange. Yeah, that's not my fault.
Nom orange.
Whatever. Besides, these kids need our help. I'm seeing less help, more just lock away the key and shit. Need our help, man. All we're doing is babysitting. Personally, I think the authorities should have shot first and asked questions later. When it comes to a bunch of little psychopaths, that's like to kill our people. They like to kill our people. Well, Arkham Asylum has mass extermination in there. And as an immediate response, James looked at him in disgust. Isn't it right to kill kids under any circumstance? Said Jerry. Bruce looked at the monitor and see Elsa and Megan talking to each other in lunch. But then again, you might be right, said with confidence. He was thinking of something. He finished the last bite of his orange. In the middle of the day, in Newstone Penitentiary, the children can choose to do activities to make them feel not trapped in this place. Elsa has always buried herself in her artwork, and during this time, she always comes to the art room. Elsa is considered to be an amazing artist amongst the employees and prisoners of Newstone. So she sat down in the art room and began a new project. At the same time, 2 doctors are watching her and the other people in the room. Elsa Young Sharp, age 14, sexually abused as a child. She seems to have killed her father in cold blood. As a result, she seems to be diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, said a female doctor with black hair and brown glasses. Any chance of the poor girl ever be released from this prison? Even they admit it's a prison. It's not a penitentiary, it's a prison. Dr. Piper responded to the male doctor. Unfortunately, that's not possible. Elsa seems to be stuck in her own fantasies, and as a result, she can easily snap at any time. Keeping her here seems to make her docile, explained Dr. Piper. Megan and Elsa seem to have some sort of relationship for the past couple months.
Pour some pepper down your throat.
Pepper.
Okay.
No. I was just doing a little tongue twister. Another unfortunate fantasy of hers. I think that America is okay. I know that America is capable of gay and lesbian people. There's nothing wrong against them, but I find it in my work that those people are prone to violence. You're wrong. They're actually quite nice people. I know plenty. It's almost as if they some sort of narcissistic disorder, explained Dr. Piper. They're in the entire conversation. They're in the conversation. Elsa was working on another mannequin. She made 3 mannequins of her other mannequins in the form of Megan in the past. But today she made a mannequin that looks extremely similar to Dennis. As a result, the 2 doctors were shocked when she near finished. That looks like, said the male doctor, looking at the mannequin from a distance with surprise on his face. Dennis Socrates. But she hates
Suck.
men. Sulk. She always talks about how she wishes all men were dead. What does this mean? Said Dr. Piper, interrupting the other doctors from speaking. The 2 doctors stood there in shock for only less than a minute. Luckily, Elsa and I have a therapy session in a couple of minutes. I'll see what I can find on his new development, said Dr. Piper. A couple minutes later, Elsa and Dr. Piper go to the private room for their therapy session. Elsa sat down in a black cushioned chair, while Dr. Piper sat on a fold-out metal chair across the glass table with potted flower in the center. So how are you today, Elsa? Asked Dr. Piper as she took out a notebook. All good. It's all good, Elsa said with uncertainty as she looked down at the floor, obviously deep in thought. Let's talk about what you did today in the art room. Who was the little boy? Asked Piper with professionalism. Dennis. Why is Elsa said in the ear whisper. Why Dennis? Don't you hate men? Asked Dr. Piper. It's true that all men are monsters, but there's something about that boy I can't explain, said Elsa as she continued to look down at the floor, but her eyes began to tear up as she started fighting something in her head. Something causes enormous pain in her heart, and she doesn't understand. Hey, Elsa, look at me, said Dr. Piper with sympathy. Elsa slowly raised her head to look at Dr. Piper. What you're feeling is normal, said Dr. Piper, looking in Elsa's eyes. Normal? If this is normal, how can it hurt so much? Shouted Elsa as she stood up and turned walking through walls. Her eyes teared up and more crying, walking towards the walls. Her eyes teared up more, getting ready to cry. I'm guessing that you never tried talking to him. Have you ever stopped and thought that maybe not all men are monsters? Asked Dr. Piper. As immediate response to that threat, Elsa wiped away her tears. No, why should I think otherwise? But because my father represents all men. That's not a very healthy attitude. But whatever, kid. I'm just distant from the story.
Why the hell do you think he's in therapy? Good lord.
This is less therapy, more prison. I'm starting to get confused what the fuck is even place is. It feels Arkham Asylum, but feels jail, but feels juvie, but feels like whatever. I don't know. My father was a scumbag, just like any other man in this godforsaken world. Shouted Elsa with anger. What makes you think that your father represents all men? Said Piper. Dr. Piper. I don't know, Elsa responded with hesitation. Well, that's all the time we have for today, for now. But we should try talking. That was a very short fucking therapy session. Whatever. Talk to Dennis and make your own opinions, said Dr. Piper. As she closed her notebook and stood up, Elsa took this as a moment thinking about it before she left the room. As she walked towards her cell, she thinks about the concept of talking to Dennis. But she doesn't think she will find in her heart to actually speak to him. When Elsa got to her cell, she sat down on her bed, looking at the window of the sunset over the ocean. Howdy, Elsa. How'd the therapy session go today? Said a cowboy voice. Elsa calmly turned her head to look to see a foot tall bug with bug-like wooden figure. It had 4 rotating arms with circular cylinders mechanized that allowed the arms and fingers to move. The wooden figure is painted in red with orange insect-like eyes. Red with orange insect-like eyes. It is dressed like a cowboy, but had hard, but it's too hard to distinguish if it should be an ant or a mantis. As good as possibly be, Buckshot. It's nice to see you, though, my old friend. Elsa responded with it to the inanimate object. What's the matter, Elsa? You don't quite sound like yourself today, said in a very normal voice come from the shadows. Out of the shadows came a 4-foot tall wooden doll, one figure. But this one looks like an old looking dummy that is wearing a 1950s tuxedo with a red bow tie and red and orange clown shoes. It's Chuckles the Clown. Whatever. Sharp as ever, Pablo. It's Pablo Escobar. You see, I met a boy today, and I don't know what I'm gonna think about him. Think of him. For once in my life, I actually want a man. No, I want this boy to touch. Jesus bloody Christ! Just full fucking send it. Whatever, just you do you. I just don't care at this point. He's a man, and therefore he could hurt me. What am I thinking? I just don't understand what I'm thinking. Elsa explained with calm sadness. Why don't you just let us kill the yell-belly fool? Asked Buckshot with a sense of dark humor. This is for now on, when I see immediate response when it counts. Elsa stands up from her bed and looks at Buckshot with anger. If you ever chirp one little cute and adorable hair on his head, I'll use you for scraps, said Elsa with a very calm, angry voice. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Miss Elsa. I didn't mean to make you angry, Buckshot said with a mild sense of fear. It seems to me that you have fallen in love with this young boy, said Pablo. Elsa crossed her arms and looked down thinking about it. Well, maybe that Megan was wrong about me. After all, you should be a lesbian. What's wrong about you? After all, you should be a lesbian. Pablo continued to speak. Dennis is younger than you, and I don't think it's right for me to like him, let alone even have sexual contact. This is definitely not a fucking place. If the staff actually no, fuck it. There's no logic. I'm not even gonna try at this point. Maybe I should just try to forget about him, said Elsa with monotone sadness.
You're fine there, gun kid. I don't know what your issue is.
There's no logic.
There's no logic with you neither. So what's the fucking difference?
I'm starting to reconsider reading these stories because if my brain's starting to hurt. All right, whatever. But if you do, you'll wind up causing yourself more pain. You need to try to speak to him, said Paul, causing to take a couple of steps towards Elsa. What if he doesn't like me? Said Elsa with hesitation. Isn't that his decision? You can't make people choose. I think this proves that you are into boys, but you're just into little boys, since all men are. I pray for your safety and sake of mine, Zach. Because I imagine one day you can get death threats for writing this shit. Alright, explained Pablo, putting his wooden hand over on her shoulder with comfort. Thanks, Pablo, said Elsa, as she gave her one friend a hug. You're welcome, Elsa, said Pablo, as the wooden figure gave a hug back. That night, Elsa fell asleep with her wooden friend as they moved on. The next morning, as in every morning, a new stone. Both the boys and girls are separated into different shower rooms. Well, thank God for that. So now Elsa picked a locker and started to undress. Elsa dressed herself unbuttoned her black t-shirt, revealing her purple bra. At that moment, Dr. Piper was watching the girls undress, making sure none of the girls have caused trouble in your.
Is this a shower scene?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Holy hell, we got there pretty quick.
Yeah. I'm already seen enough of this. Get your socks out, sickos. You a bunch of pedophiles. They're still children. You know that, right? Yeah. Y'all can read this. And I believe this. Oh, dear God. Oh, yeah, you can all read this. What the fuck?
I think I'm dying over here.
What the hell's going on here? My thoughts exactly.
It's funny to watch.
Shouted Piper with anger and confusion. With Dr. Piper in the way of the entrance, Megan stopped for a second. Get out of my way, old hag, shouted Megan as she pushes the doctor out of the way and then leaves the shower. Dr. Piper was about to respond to Megan's outburst, but she noticed Elsa on the floor flying. Oh, dear Lord. Not knowing what was going on, the doctor approached Elsa as she was sobbing. Hey, what's the matter? asked Dr. Piper as she helped Elsa stand up. Cries for speech. It should have been sobs. Like she's sobbing. Alright. Did not mean to say I didn't know who, cried Elsa. There. It's okay, said Dr. Piper as she gave Elsa a hug. But when she felt
some of this is quite the tender story to some of this.
I see no tenderness.
That's just because this, well, you know, I basically got him from the negative dollar store, so I had to deal with what I got.
I'm starting to rethink my contract. Because this is just making my humanity just fucking slip away. Alright. But when she does, she felt something that wasn't water on her head. She looked at her on her head. She looked at her hand and saw Elsa's head was bleeding. Elsa, you're bleeding. Well, good job, Captain Obvious, said Dr. Piper with a slight hint of urgency. I hit my head off the wall, said Elsa, trying to wipe her tears away. Well, let's get some clothes and get you to the infirmary, Dr. Piper responded. Less than minutes later, Elsa is taken to the infirmary. The medical doctor sees that she only has a slight cut on the right side of her head. After stitching her up, she was free to go. So now Elsa finds herself walking through the hallways of the prison. On her way to the common area, she crossed paths with Dennis. Elsa watched him pass her, but then she stopped her tracks because she tried to work up the courage to say something to him. Dennis? Elsa responded with nervousness. As an immediate, there's 5. Dennis stopped in his tracks and slowly looked at Elsa. Yeah? So then said with emotion. Microwave noises, said Elsa, unable to really say
You
much.
almost made me spit out my drink.
Good for footage.
Fuck you.
Because she wasn't so nervous, she could barely get a word out. Eventually, Dennis started to get angry, get impatient, whatever, wanting for her to actually say something that made sense. As a result, Dennis lost control of his pyrokinesis, and the lights flickered. responded as he fussed. As a result, Elsa was confused and scared. Why don't you say something meaningful? Like, for example, why don't you ask me if it feels, ask me what it feels like to be a freak, said Dennis, with hatred of himself as he walked away from Elsa. At that moment, Elsa felt helpless and was unable to say anything to keep someone that she likes from walking away from her for the sake of her desires. In the middle of the day, Elsa had another therapy session with Dr. Piper. Yet again, she sat down in the same chair as before in the same room. So how you feeling, Elsa? How you feeling today, Elsa? Said Dr. Piper as she takes out a pen, getting ready to write down some notes on the clipboard. Honestly, I don't know how I feel today. If anything, I seem to feel a little lost, said Elsa, looking down on the floor. Have you seen our friends today? Our two friends today? Pablo and Buckshot? Elsa said Dr. Piper with concern. No, I haven't seen them really, Elsa replied. That's good news, Dr. Piper said as she wrote down some notes. Just when the doctor was writing down that was a good sign that she could start recognizing reality, Elsa continues to say, but I wish I could see them more of them, said Elsa with longing. Why do you say that? Do you realize they're not real, right? Said Dr. Piper, with shock, not realizing that she said was not professional. 6. Elsa looked at Dr. Piper with anger. They're just as real as you and me, said Elsa with a slight hint of anger. I'm sorry, Elsa. You're right, Dr. Piper said with embarrassment, with the obvious face of embarrassment on her face. Yes, obvious face of face. Elsa did not believe what doctor said. After that, after I watched on Doctor. After that, there's 2 watches. I should put after that the
Get rid of it.
after the watch. After that, and I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna change some things. We're back on her face. After that, the watch on Dr. Pepper's wrist started to beep. Oh dear, where does the time go? I guess that's the end of our session. A 15-second session. Lovely, said Dr. Piper with relief. After Elsa had a confused look on her face, security guards walked into the security room. Groups will guide you to the common area. Common area today, explained Dr. Piper with a smile. Dr. Piper said with a smile. Normally the rule is that every kid that was put in this place is supposed to have a security escort, but due to underpaid staff, oh no, I already know what's gonna happen here.
Come on, just keep reading.
No, y'all can read this.
Is it really that bad?
I knew this was gonna happen. Fucking rape, attempted rape. Y'all love your socks. Y'all love your socks.
It's the good stuff.
Good stuff. You should be in prison.
Actually, you know what? This is kind of bad. But that's the point.
That's why I stay away from stories like these.
No, people should see more of this stuff so they understand
What's
what is
wrong
good.
with you? What's honestly wrong with you?
So people can know what's good and bad.
We all know what bad is. We don't want to see bad.
Oh yeah, people forget all the time, dumbass.
No, we all know what bad is. We see it on the news. Alright, y'all can read this. Y'all Code red. All right. All right. Here we go. Code red. Code red. I got a possible man down. All officers to south wall. Shouted Jerry on his radio. Elsa walked out of the janitor's room, shaken up. As soon as she stepped out of the janitor's room, 3 security guards tackled her like if she was a football game. And a ref comes out of nowhere. Red card, foul. Then Jerry showed up to shake. Jerry showed up, shaking Bruce's corpse. Bruce, are you okay? Shouted Jerry with plea. Then after that, Dr. Pepper showed up and saw everything unfold. As security guards managed to subdue. That's not how you spell subdue. We'll be back. We're back. Actually, probably changed this shit.
Is the thing still go? It's still play? I don't know. Play.
It's on play. It's unpaused. We're live. Elsa took. Subdue Elsa. They took her away, and then threw into a solitary confinement. As a result, they threw her into a padded room with only a tiny windows near the ceiling as the only light source, and a big, heavy metal door. Which only enters, was the only entry and exit to the room. The security locked the big metal door with Elsa inside of the padded room. Elsa paces around the room before sitting down on the padded floor and began to cry over the situation. Why are you crying? It's only a room, which is the only thing you get around here, said a familiar female voice. Coming over from the ventilation. 7. Immediate response. Elsa stands up and looks above her as she sees the ventilation is next to the tiny window in the ceiling. Who are you? Who's there? Elsa said with curiosity. My name's Judy. And you? Said the voice from the ventilation.
Oh, Judy, hello.
My name's Elsa. Elsa responded. It's nice to meet you. I won't let this place get to you. This is just how it is normally around here. Molestation likes to happen. Rape likes to happen. We all love that, don't we? No background checks, no security checks, no proper security staff. Just fucking stupid employers. And stupid, just no logic.
Yeah,
Said
society is pretty stupid anyways.
Well, it can be when it's under poor management. That's all easier said than done. This is the first time I've ever been thrown in solitary confinement, said Elsa, as she sat down, leaning against the padded wall, getting ready to cry again. What's the matter, Elsa? Said Judy, with a small hint of mockery. I think... Well, I'm not sure, but I think I fell in love with a young boy. But my father raped me when I was a little girl, and I absolutely hate men because of it. So basically, you want to do to others what your father did to you. Innocent, okay, whatever. What I feel in his love for this young boy, then why do I even like men in the first place? I don't even know him. I'm terrified that this is a sign that I'm just like my father, raping little kids for my own pleasure. Just for my pleasure. Elsa explained with sadness. It sounds like you're doing that thing that my father used to talk about. He used to always say that it's very important to judge yourself. But I learned that you should never judge yourself, nor let anybody judge you for who you are. You should always accept who you are, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you're a rapist, or a psychopath, or mockery, or even a sadist. Nuke the island. Nuke the island. Clean the slate. Clean the fucking slate! But is that wrong? Elsa said Elsa with hesitation. You need to understand that your pride is more important. Oh, great. I fucking Vegeta. If you let go of your pride, then you become depressed, and you try to give try to give everything to others, you become even more depressed. Only pride will make you happy, and happiness is important. That's all I have learned despite not being very smart. I can fucking tell you're not very smart. Holy. The logic is just crack pipe. But I've come to accept this. Said, I'm not going to mention her name because she's just beyond moronic. Elsa did not respond to moronic because she did not felt like her but because she still felt like her feelings were wrong. She liked Dennis even though she doesn't know him. She wants to touch Dennis and let her touch her, but she fears that might be what might be right, which will make her just like her father. She hates all men because of what her father did to her. But she also knows that Dennis may be a boy, but he's still technically a man because he will grow up eventually. Feeling down, dear? Said Pablo, coming out of the shadows. And immediately, Judy heard your voice from beyond the ventilation, which confused Judy. The bitch tried to jump into the ventilation and cannot reach, result in her anger of her own abilities. Pablo! Shouted Elsa with joy as she stands up and hugs the wooden doll, one mannequin. Pablo's wooden arms hugged back. At the same time, Buckshot also walks out of the shadows of the room into the room. I'm so glad to finally see you both, Elsa said with joy as she stopped hugging Pablo. We couldn't forget about you, Elsa. After all, you built us, said Buckshot. Hey, who else is there? Shouted Judy on the other side of ventilation. This girl says I should not care about what other people think and just fucking molest, whispered Elsa as she points to the ventilation. And do you think that's what you should do? Asked Pablo, crossing his one hand's arms, looking at Elsa with acceptance. Well, not sure, hesitated Elsa, uncertain. Why well, I know you always, I know you always look to Pablo for answers, but I have a suggestion, said Buckshot, raising one of his left hands and approached Elsa, stepping into the light more. Of course, you have a suggestion, you parasite. Of course, you would have a suggestion, you parasite, said Pablo, rolling his eyes. May I speak, Pablo? Said Buckshot with anger. And as 9, Pablo rolled his eyes.
Why is that down so far? The next sentence down. As you
This
haven't
one?
read it, either one you haven't read yet.
I don't know. Want to backspace it?
Yeah, just one. There you go.
If it's too difficult to speak to him, or do you fear you might actually hurt him? Then it probably will be best if you just follow him and help him with whatever journey approaches him. That way you can get to know him better, so you can eventually finally speak to him. Suggested Buckshot. Elsa took a moment to think. What about Megan? Asked Elsa. Honestly, the way she treated you, I think her days are numbered. And if you let us, we'll handle this. Said Buckshot. Buckshot responded. Very well. Let's just not make this too much.
Can you do that part where it says, sure? And yeah, there you go. Thank you. Every time you see that, can you fix that?
What the fuck is this word? C?
That's sigh. Sure. What?
Had ESIE.
Oh yeah, that is definitely sigh. Okay. That's because this is me that's editing it. That's why. Because I was doing this by myself, unfortunately.
Sigh.
Thank you.
Very well. But don't make too much make too much of a mess. Yes, sir. I mean, ma'am. Shouted Buckshot with excitement as he stumbled on his words, and then turned around and started walking through the shadows. Yag, yag, yag.
That's just a sound he made.
Yag, I can't believe you convinced your master to do this. Pablo said with with discuss. With discuss or discuss?
Like he doesn't like it or something. You know what? Just leave it the way it
All right.
is.
As he also disappears into the shadows with Buckshot. That night, in the basement of Newstone, in a little white room, locked inside
Oh
electrical
boy.
box,
Just keep reading.
that powers the camera's school. Paula's creepy shadows reflected on red lights in that room. He approached the electrical box and pulled a 12-inch sword from his sleeve, and then stabs the main power cord of the power box, shutting down the power to the cameras. Unfortunately, that night security guard fell asleep beforehand and did not notice that the security feed was down. Meanwhile, Meg lay in her cell. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, you all can sick fuck read this. You're definitely in the fucking 80s mindset. Anime of the 80s. Alright. That was chapter 4. I have no words. Just don't ask me. I have no words.
Well, at least it was only 46 minutes. At least you read pretty darn good. Please like and subscribe, and this is Zerduku, and what's left of Gun Kid here signing out.